I'm Craig Slate.
And I'm Edward Todd.
And you're listening to
The Fresh CrEd. Have you ever seen Wayne's World?
I have.
This is a Wayne's World moment.
Is it? Yeah, I like that. I hadn't thought about that.
Well, you know, that's what I'm here for, is to think of things.
We made my teenager watch Wayne's World. It did not resonate the same way. He was not impressed.
Well, it's kind of like, I don't know, what would be the more modern Wayne's World? Napoleon Dynamite, which I had to watch 5 times to really like, and now
my God, I loved it when I first saw it.
Yeah.
And I've seen it 100 times.
Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah.
Did you get it the first time?
Well, it doesn't say I got it. I mean, I still haven't gotten Tommy the musical. If you ever saw that,
No,
but
I never saw
who
that.
did that? Then I still haven't got that.
Okay,
But anyway,
so I have some trivia. Did you know my son's name is Ivor because of the Who?
really?
We are big Who fans.
Wow.
So Ivor the engine driver.
Well,
Yeah.
my son's middle name might be Granger, which means farmer in French, which also he almost was named Ags after the Aggies. So, yeah. So the Granger was kind of an evolution of that, and it was connected. So, Ivor, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, this
We-
is Pam.
we
for-
kinda
for those of-
digressed.
For those of you
Whoa.
that don't know, which probably everybody does, this is Pamela Riemenschneider coming to us from Austin, Texas. That's where she hails from today. Blue Book
Yep.
and produce aficionado, expert, media
Extraordinaire.
icon. I
Pin
don't know.
collector.
What I don't know how many. What can we layer on here? But yeah, so many great things. But and fortunately, many years, a friend of mine and Ed, we've all done some golf tournaments together. In fact, she was one of the ones. Remember back in the day when we were doing Houston, back when we were just barely.
I think Pamela and I met at SCPC a long time ago.
Yeah, but Houston, I think the Houston Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Association
I think that was
might
it.
have been those golf tournaments where we're really trying to pull it together.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
like Nutras running through the course while you're playing, and barefoot by the end because
Were you there the year the tree fell on
yes, I
Winstead?
was next to him.
No, you weren't.
Yes, it was Steve and then me and then Joe, and the tree
that
started.
could have been really.
Joe went
I
this
told
way.
that
I went this way. Steve went this way.
I told that story not too long ago. So just real quickly for those listening, there was a fully mature 70-year-old oak tree right next to this clubhouse. This tournament's about to take off. And I think we had some dignitaries, if you will, from Austin there as well, aside from Pamela. And right by the pro shop and the practice green, chipping green, everybody's warming up. There's this huge tree, and I guess they'd had more rain than usual, which in Houston must mean, a couple 100 feet. And all of a sudden you hear a couple snaps, and I turned around, and I was far enough away that I was close enough to run to it, but I was far enough away to be out of the line of fire. And this huge tree falls on Steve Grinstead.
The three of us were walking.
Yeah.
And
side
he
by
must have
side.
been standing right in the right spot because
it
any
hit
one
a
of those.
table, a
was
metal
it?
table, and
Okay.
Steve was next
That's
to the
exactly
table,
right.
and
The
it blocked
table,
him
the
from-
table kept him.
I just scooched up back a few feet, and Joe, he ran like this, and and then we had to call a fire department.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, like I say, it was, and of course he was shook up. I mean, yeah,
Oh.
it was such a, and and we're trying. And the thing is, it's like anything else. All right, so very seldom in your golf tournament planning do you plan for trees
falling?
falling on part of your group.
don't do
right?
At the clubhouse.
At the clubhouse, no less. And I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, and so you got to still have a tournament that gets off. But yeah, that was it. But those were the early days. Like I say, we were scraping to put those together back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nowadays, the tournaments go a little smoother.
we'll see. We got one coming up.
Yeah,
we'll see. They don't speak too soon, but I think it'll be fine. It'll be fine coming up. But well, look, Pamela, thank you. This is part Deux.
Yeah, we all have those problems. Every once in a while, the audio, the video. I've been doing trade journalism for 20 years. I have a photojournalism degree, and the number of times that I've had a snafu when it comes to technology, it happens.
It happens.
So for those of us that, or those of you that don't know where we're going with this, so we had Pamela join us at Viva Fresh last April, and there was some technical difficulties which kept us from publishing the interview. So we asked her to join us here today, and she graciously agreed and said, "Don't mess up." or else.
Yeah, shit, we don't get a
I'm
third
not
shot,
doing
Mason.
this
So
again.
we can't. If we
So-
don't make
or
this
we,
happen,
or we
she's
might have
like,
to come to Austin because we've got this podcast tour that we're putting together, kind of like those cruises that like celebrities do.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, so we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna do a traveling podcast. Right now, so far, we have some interest from folks that are willing to sponsor us and house us in Spain, Portugal, Hawaii. Craig's going to do some
I'm doing reconnaissance.
investigative research on soon.
Santa Paula,
Santa
yeah, yeah.
Paula.
Limonera. We're going to be there.
Oh,
In
yeah.
fact, we can do. I think we got offered he's got 5 different locations we can do it from there.
Okay.
Limonera out there has some micheladas that, if you are trade show grazing, they were good.
You mean in here, in the show?
Right
in the
here.
show.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are top notch.
We don't have that luxury. They don't really let us out of this fishbowl, but thank you for
That's
rubbing
all
it
I've
in.
been doing.
Ed messed up the schedule, so we're not able to get away.
You don't get to walk
Okay.
the floor. You get to just watch everyone go by. They're all their
Yeah.
bags of swag.
I got a full bar set up behind you over here that I
Oh.
can't even get opened up.
My mom said I can't go.
So, hey, what do you think of this? I mean, wow. I mean, this thing is popping, right?
Yeah, we were watching the attendance lists go up and up and up as we were getting ready to make our trip out here and trying to make an accounting of it. And in 2019, I believe the attendance was about 24,000. And they're probably expecting close to that this year, I'm sure. The show floor is every big as it was in 2019. And what the funny thing is before everything shut down, before the world shut down, I feel like it was the height of our hubris because they had a merch table and I bought the merch. I bought a
my
t-shirt
God.
from the 2019 Fresh Summit.
Wow.
And it was just kind of like, yeah, let's sell backpacks and all kinds of stuff. And it was real fun. And then
It wasn't.
Ha ha.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not.
Big changes came.
Fresh CrEd merch table next show. We got to do
She
that.
just said hubris. You know what that means.
Yeah, I
right?
do.
That's
I
not a
do.
positive term.
Well, I don't care.
You don't care.
I'm a merch
we're
guy.
Gonna, we're going to go
Well,
with
I like
all
that.
the hubris.
I noticed y'all drinking out of paper coffee cups. I almost brought my glass one from Viva Fresh.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
forgot to order those, so
Yeah.
we're gonna have
Yeah.
to.
See, there's
Thanks
your
for
merch.
letting everybody else know they didn't get
I
one, by
have
the way.
one. See, I'm
So
cool
now-
like that. I got
now-
one at home.
Now we're
so
gonna have to ship them.
If we ever do this via internet, I'll just get it out for you.
We will. Yeah, so that's good. Well, you could put it on your show.
I could.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could
absolutely.
have that
But
on
you
your
won't.
show. So
Yeah, I'm big on props. Like, if we have something to add, I'll be like, hold up, and I run downstairs and go bring it back
man,
upstairs.
You just gave me an idea. A Craig puppet.
Oh,
Oh man.
a Craig puppet.
Yeah, we can have a puppet
Wait,
made.
are we
that
talking
looks
about
like Craig.
one of those little, like the real deal? Or are you talking about like a
everyone's
hand
got a
puppet?
TikTok shop now. You know, got to
Yeah.
link out to my shop with all my merch. I don't have any of that right now.
Okay, we have
I'm
got
still
some
in
good ideas.
acquisition.
We don't want to tip the hand too much, but yeah, we've got some ideas.
No, I mean, I kind of think I like the
So that
puppet.
this is just another like when you start threatening.
Uh-huh.
You know,
How
We
you
talked
might-
about
how might-
David.
how much you
We
might
ta-
fix it?
we talked about David.
Yeah,
A puppet.
puppet.
And I can maybe Mason can throw his voice, or I can throw my voice, and then we
You
have
know
a
what?
puppet
Actually,
there.
that might be a show that I'd watch. you with a little Craig on your little lap. I think we may have something there.
The angels and Angel Craig and whatever on your shoulder, telling you, yeah, do this
Yeah,
and no, do
do
this.
that.
Who's your
There
no
you-
and who's your yes?
Yeah, there you
on
go.
your shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
we're talking about when he's threatening about retiring. Like,
Oh,
so
no.
like you know, I told
From the
him,
show.
Oh, from the show.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
No,
well,
we're not ready for that.
Yeah, but, it's there's the show's fun. I'm Ed gives me a hard time on the threatening, but as you do this for a living,
Yes.
we do this for fun.
Yeah.
And this fun, becomes a lot more work than originally it was kind of like. There was no real commitment. We just got on Fridays and talked to each other, and then
Or
we hung
Sunday
up-
morning.
or Sunday mornings. Yeah, we
when
did
you
get
kept
some
me
of that.
from going to church.
But so we're still having a good time, but there's a lot of work behind any of this to get to this point.
There
right?
is a lot of production in the back end of this kind of stuff. I've been shooting videos for the produce industry since 2007.
They had
That's-
video back then.
with what?
They had video back then.
They did. It was with a Canon G6 and like a shop light in my apartment kitchen when I first got out of Kansas City. I moved back to Texas, and the production quality. I had a poster board with squeezy fruits in front of it where I rated things on the squeezy fruit scale.
Come on.
It was so bad. It's still on YouTube.
You got some of that
Wow.
old
It's still on
footage?
YouTube somewhere.
I'm
I don't.
picturing Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yes,
Like,
very
right?
similar
kind
to
of
that.
Were
And
you?
Did you have
were
a talking
inspired by
couch? Did
Pee-wee?
you have a couch that talked?
I
Or
didn't have
sofa?
anything like that. But the funny thing is that I went through an entire pregnancy, and you could see me get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that kid is 15 now.
Wow.
I'm like, that's crazy.
So 07, God, I don't even think, I didn't realize, so there was YouTube channels in 07 then.
Yeah, there were. Yeah, and those videos are still out there.
Hmm.
And I take a look at them every once in a while.
Most of it's jazzercise, though.
Oh yeah, most of it's just like weird stuff.
Okay, you're thinking of a different era, and don't go down that road.
Some
It's
lady blowing
Showtime.
up broccoli in her microwave in her kitchen. Yeah, that's what I used to do. Nowadays, I make my kids make most of it.
Yeah.
So that everyone can see what it looks like when a teenager makes a mess trying to make your salad kit. It's fun though. I really enjoy
That's
it.
cool.
Well, yeah, you involve your kids in a lot of the stuff that you're doing in terms of like the food and stuff that you bring out of the produce department and trying out, or you get sent and that kind of deal. I've seen some of that stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, and I think that based on how long I've been looking at this, how many of these things I see, I used to judge packaging and things like that. I have an opinion coming from an informed, kind of jaded maybe sometimes. Like,
you.
really,
You
are we
wouldn't
doing
be
this? Let me see what my kids think of it, because my kids, they're like my in-house testing ground. Or I'll even like have some friends. Like, have you ever taken a friend to the store because you've seen everything and you know everyone behind every piece of fruit in the store? So you need to take like a blank slate with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different perspective.
Yeah. I need to get out of my little bubble of what I think about things.
No, it's probably actually
Yeah.
there's something in that.
Can we back up though to the photojournalism degree? Can we talk about what inspired you? How early did you know you wanted to do that? Was it a flyer? Was it a lifelong dream? What was that about?
So I grew up in Central Missouri, and my grandfather was that grandpa that always had a camera in his hands. He's still with us. He factors into the story later here. But I took a lot of photos in school, and he gave me his Olympus OM1 camera, which is like a really good manual camera. I started taking a lot of pictures in school, and University of Missouri, when I was in high school, was the #1 journalism school in the country.
Oh wow.
And so it was a yearbook class, newspaper class, that kind of stuff. And I said, I'm going to go to school for photojournalism. Little did I know that I was dumping myself into the deep end of the #1 program, the most competitive program in the country.
Yeah.
And all these people with, their fancy Japanese cameras around their necks, the Leicas and stuff like that. And here I am, just some girl from Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. I moved out an hour from home. And so I went into it thinking I would be a fashion photographer, National Geographic magazines. I ended up veering more towards sports because I played a lot of sports. I was involved in sports. My dad worked at a golf course. My uncle worked at a golf course. And so I graduated with a degree in photojournalism, and I got a job. My first job out of college was in Schulenburg, Texas. The Schulenburg sticker.
Some good barbecue there.
Good barbecue. You've had some good chicken fried steak there.
Bring Oma Opa, I like it too.
Yeah.
That's the tag on. I don't remember the name of the restaurant, but I've eaten their buffet.
Yeah. So it took me from.
So
Central
what's in
Missouri.
Schulenburg? You go to Schulenburg to do what?
So I had this boyfriend in college, and
Okay.
his parents lived in Austin. And when we graduated from Mizzou, we were like, where do you want to move? And in 2002, Austin seemed like a great choice. Turns out in journalism, you got to find a job and then move there. So
That's not how it works.
yeah, I found a job in Schulenburg, and that boyfriend moved with me, and he actually got a job at the Fayette County Sheriff's Department.
I thought you were going to say Dairy Farmers of America.
No, DFA is there too, yeah. But he worked for the LaGrange, and we were there for a year. I switched jobs to the Round Rock newspaper about a week and a half after we got married. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary last month.
Oh, congrats.
So yeah, I followed that boy to Texas, and it worked out.
Grange.
Yeah.
There's a song.
Famed of song and story.
Yes,
ZZ
and
Top
it was
has a song
real.
about.
The Chicken Shack was real. It's not there anymore. As you know, he went to law school in Kansas, which is how I ended up in trade media in the produce industry. I got a job at the Packer. Again, I worked at K-State, Kansas State University. I got a faculty job writing safety manuals for OSHA for the fruit and vegetable specialty foods preserving industry.
Nice.
Thrilling.
Sounds very exciting.
You know, one of those jobs where you just walk out the building and shut the door and think about nothing about
gosh.
it. That I did for a year.
You mean you weren't obsessing over the weekend about what you were...
No. My job was not my life then. Let's just put it that way. And after about a year, I'd had enough of that. It was my contract was up, and so I found just some job for some newspaper I'd never heard of. I knew nothing about produce, but my grandfather was a produce supervisor for Safeway in Kansas City for 27 years. So I had said something to them about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I used to read that."
Huh.
And so I worked there for 13 years, and I cannot imagine going back to community news. I can't imagine. I love sports, and maybe I could go into the sports side of it, but being involved in the produce industry, I joked with somebody where I was like, I don't think anyone would be surprised to learn that I was voted most school spirit in high school.
I got spirit. Yes, I do. I
Come
got spirit.
on.
How about you? Huh?
I am the definition of extra when it comes to my funny clothes, my pins.
So you've always been that. You've always had the.
A little's good, more's better.
Yeah. I mean, at a certain point, I'm going to have to I've only got so many days of the week that I can wear avocado earrings, But for me, all of that has become personal branding. I'm known for it. I'm recognized for it. Very few people go, and you are. So it has worked out for me to be the persona that starts the conversation. That's my in.
Right.
I guess.
Makes all the sense in the world.
So, and I'm an extrovert. I don't mind. I can have a conversation with anybody. And, it works out for me. And taking that way of looking at things, especially video, from that journalism aspect to the what do I think of it was a real, kind of hard to do. But once I embraced my own voice of it, I'm totally confident.
So, are you a pure extrovert or are you an introverted extrovert? Because I think I've discovered that I'm an introverted extrovert. I love talking to people. I love being around people. But the reality is when I'm home or when I don't have to be around people. I like my alone time or, I'm about to drive 20-something hours by myself next week and I'm okay with it.
I can thrive by myself.
Yeah.
But I don't have, it doesn't drain me to do this. I don't need recovery time from this kind of show. Physically, I might. Just, getting around, walking 2-3 miles through this, dragging around the sack of avocados.
And 50 pounds of buttons.
50 pounds of buttons and all of that stuff. That part of it I do need the recharge from, but the recharge from a draining conversation, my battery is charged by being around people. I will go out of this totally psyched, ready to go, ready to talk to more people.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it, though. I like that. Your battery is charged by being around people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can go off and,
I'm motivated.
And run for a while with that charge and then come back to it. And so that's a good way of looking at it.
You can go to the mountains and, live in a tent.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm going to do.
I know.
You still have a chance to join me.
Let's see. I'm Hawaii or go hang out with you in a tent.
About 15 below.
I need to introduce you to my husband because he wants to go live in a tent in the mountains.
Okay.
So he's the opposite
Ed's going.
I need somebody to help me drive.
Ed's going Wednesday. So he stopped by Austin and pick him up.
Well, that's easy.
We just spent our 20th anniversary after SCPC. We went to Western North Carolina into the mountains over there. Did a tiny bit of hiking. And I can just see his eyes light up and go, I want to spend more time here. I want to spend more time doing this.
That's how I was in New Mexico this last spring break. My wife's family still has some property there, and after almost 25 years, I'm ashamed to say I had never been, and we talked about it and just never made the time. And now I want to figure out how I can stay there and not ever leave. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
You move and buy a house there. That's how you do that.
Well, I know, but it's the. What am I gonna do? Like
Do this.
do this
Yeah,
from
this-
there?
Yeah.
I don't even know if they have internet there. Internets.
Internets. They got the internets.
Greg
in
and I
parts of
find
it.
a way. We find a way
Yeah.
to make our weekend review work, even when he was in Maine once on a farm, and you can hear the cows and stuff behind him while he's
That's
trying
just
to like
added
one
flavor.
arm selfie video is with his phone.
That's just added flavor.
Yeah.
It's fun. We do this our video. We do it regardless of
As long as it's not
vacation.
smell-o-vision.
No.
And he was on the farm.
No, we were good. But we find a way, even though I should be on vacation or he should be on vacation, because we do enjoy it. It's one of those things that consistency has helped us a lot. But to your point earlier, I'm like it does take over a lot of time.
Yeah.
I try not to dwell on the back end editing of it and just go with what we've got.
Yeah, our producers like that too.
Yeah, see, you guys have a producer. I'm the producer. I'm a shoestring here.
Well, yeah.
Well, you should get one. It's really cool.
I should get one.
I highly recommend it.
Someone else is gonna have to listen to me talk than me. That would actually be ideal.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Apparently,
hey.
I asked Mason about listening to the show. He says, Craig, I listen to the show more than anybody else that's out there.
He's
He
like, I
said,
don't
I
need
can
to-
assure you.
Because if he listened to it later, he would probably be listening for errors.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that. I can't watch it once it's published. Don't talk to me about it anymore. It's
So,
done.
from what I understand, there's a little school there in Austin that you could probably get an intern to do some of this stuff.
I
So,
probably could.
yeah, I would have thought you'd done that by now. but-
So that's imposter syndrome for you. Like, I'm not cool enough to
Imposter
get
syndrome.
an intern.
Sure you are.
I'm not big enough deal to get
Did
someone
you
else
watch
to handle.
Seinfeld? Do you see what Kramerica Industries did? They did great work with oil bladders. I mean, come on.
Right.
That's funny.
That's one of those things where it's just like, I wouldn't have never thought the audacity to go find someone else to do my work for me. Like,
Pishaw.
So now, your dad ran a golf course. I think you said your grandfather as well, right?
my uncle and my dad.
Your
Yeah.
uncle and dad. But did you play golf competitive, like in college or high school?
So I birdied the first hole I ever played.
It's a good start.
Yeah,
Mic
it's a good
drop.
start. And my dad just stars in his eyes because he went through the military in Taiwan and Korea and places like that and picked up golf there. And when we moved to the lake, he started working at golf courses, and I just went out there one day and played with him, and he was really excited about it. But at the time, I was throwing discus in track and field.
Okay.
And we did not have a girls' golf team. We only had boys. And I didn't like any of those guys. I didn't want to play golf with them. So I think I broke my dad's heart because I wouldn't play golf with him.
Right.
And then in high school and things like that. But yeah, I think he thought, you could make something out of this, because this was before golf got really big.
Right.
And as I was going through high school is when Tiger Woods started to get popular, and I look back on it and I'm like, maybe I could have and should have. But now I just play 4-man scrambles at produce events.
When sometimes you don't even do those.
I know,
You
I
find
know.
yourself doing your media stuff or whatever and skipping the golf out and working instead. But, well, I will tell you as a father and mother, father, whatever, teach your kids how to play golf, because it will be something you can do for the rest of your time with them and family. It's a great game.
Yeah, I used to play with my dad a lot. He passed away in 2018. And I inherited his golf clubs, and his golf clubs are pretty nice. So
Yeah.
I play with those. I should get my own. And then my uncle worked at golf courses up until he passed away back in May. He was mowing greens at Old Kinderhook at Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So yeah, and he used to send me photos of his hatch patterns and stuff like that. So I grew up around it, and I really enjoy getting out there and getting the chance to play. But I don't get to play on my own as much. I'm still deep in it with the little kids and soccer momming and.
You got to put a trip. So we went to Bandon Dunes. He says for my birthday, but I wound up paying my own way. So when somebody invites you somewhere for your birthday,
Well,
the connotation
we,
is
need,
that
we needed a reason
it's
to be in
paid
that.
for.
It was his birthday. Yeah,
he just needed an excuse. So
I
we
bought
did.
you dinner.
We
I did buy you
you
dinner.
did,
I
thank
did
you,
buy you
Craig,
dinner.
and a deconstructed cheesecake that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
108 holes in 3.5 days walking, 49 miles. It was tough. It wasn't like I had just been on a hunting trip that was. You would think it would have been harder, but my body, I was more beat up coming back from that trip than a big mountain hunting trip. So, you mentioned Ozarks. You need to put a trip together or have a reason to kind of practice a little bit and then, show up your best for that event.
Oh, yeah.
In the Ozarks?
For me, is Big Cedar Lodge. That's where we're going next. I don't know how far. It's by Branson, so I don't know how far that is from here.
Hey, we could stop in Branson,
Big Cedar
too. I
Lodge.
haven't been to
Do you know what it
Branson
is?
in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so Johnny Morris's resort. There's 2 Tiger design courses there. That's where Dave went not too long ago.
Jaeger went there?
It's like a resort. If like Cabela's and Bass Pro Shops had a baby and it was a resort, that's what it is.
Wow.
Yeah. Sporting clays, fishing, golf.
Get out.
It's awesome. Yeah. That's where we need to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's go when it's not humid.
I don't know when that would be. But
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe.
And bugs. No humidity.
All of a sudden you move to Tucson and you're too good for bugs, dude. You grew up in Texas.
I
Do you know what
man.
a whistle wastle is?
I tell you what, it will make you soft. That will for sure. It makes you soft, man.
Yeah, I lived in the desert too.
Yeah,
But
I know, and I can't understand why you haven't come back. I mean, you got to go to.
Well, because you're there.
Okay, thanks. All right,
But
Pamela.
seriously.
But seriously, what? What do you?
We're getting the
What part were you not
we're
serious
getting
about
the-
in there?
We're getting the hindsight.
Somebody's
Oh,
what?
no, we're behind.
Yeah, so-
have we talked about the show at all?
No, we haven't talked about it. We'll have to. We'll cover that with Kathy when we hit her at the end of this.
Or
No,
part-
we want to know about you. Like I say, and that's ideally, a few nuggets came out of that. Your journey, and a lot of people didn't know that. Certainly didn't know about your golf history and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I'm happy to share. I one of those people that I walk out of a conversation and realize I'm an oversharer.
I know.
Yeah. Oh well, you're just gonna learn about my kids and
Deal with it.
how I like to play golf, but don't
Yeah.
get to play very often.
But no, we really appreciate it.
Thanks, Pamela.
And like I say, thank you for coming back and doing part 2. This time it's going to come up.
Duh.
We're going to post this out.
It's
It's going
duh.
to be amazing, right? So we've got to take off.
Thanks,
And,
guys.
Thank you very much. And thank you guys.